What's up, comic book fans? My name is Bruce Moreau, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Reviews, a weekly series where I review the books that I picked up from my local comic book shop. And in this week's episode, I will be reviewing the books that I picked up on May 15th, 2019. Now, I'm going to do it a little different this week than I normally do. I'm going to start with the three books that I liked most, and then I'm going to go into the other ones. Normally I go Marvel, DC, Indie, DC, Marvel. It doesn't really matter what order I normally go into. I usually follow just publisher to publisher, but there were three books this week that were just off the charts good, and so I want to start with those because I want to spend the most time talking about those and then kind of just give you guys a little insight into the other books. So, the books I picked up this week were Little Bird, number 3, Justice League, 24, War of the Realms, number 4, The Amazing Spider-Man, 21, Guardians of the Galaxy, number 5, Daredevil, number 5, Batman, 71, Naomi, number 5, High Level, number 4, and Teen Titans, 30. So we're going to start this week off with a book that continues to blow me away week to week. This is Little Bird, number 3. This is written by Darcy Van Polgeist and art by Ian Bertram. This book is just hands down one of the best comics I think I have ever read. The story is just so thought out, so well done, so well paced. The characters are just there's so much depth to every character that has dialogue. There's so much intrigue and it's hard for me to put into words how good this book is. Everything in the book that is happening is happening for a reason, and it's well told. There's nothing that is overly foreshadowed where you know exactly what's going to happen, which happens with a lot of comic books. And this book is just, the story is just so well done, and the dialogue is excellent. And the art by Ian Bertram is so amazing. It's so detailed. The amount of line work in every single page, and the colors, and the wackiness of this book is just out of this world, and it's so beautiful. And another thing about this book, each week, it's, besides the story being so great and besides the artwork being so beautiful, it's also printed on this thick, wonderful paper, and it just, other books just aren't printed on this this high quality of paper. And the fact that this just makes it feel that much better. And this issue is more than the normal 24 or 28 pages. This is such a thick issue, and it was such a good issue. I cannot recommend this book enough to new readers, old readers. Doesn't need to be mature readers. I would say anyone over the age of 16, because there is tons of violence, tons of death, some nudity, but it is such a good book. It's a must read. It's definitely, between this and Justice League, I don't know which one my pick of the week would be, but it's such a good book. Highly recommend you guys pick up Little Bird. Alright, up next we have Justice League 24. This is written by Scott Snyder and art by Jorge Jimenez. Again, this book is incredible. I don't think I'm going to be ruining anything or spoiling anything, but the characters in this book that are the alternate from the sixth dimension, that are kind of like opposites of the heroes and villains that we've seen so far in this book. I'm going to say spoiler now, just in case if you haven't read this series, or if you haven't read the last issue, skip ahead until you see War of the Realms number 4, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But you've been warned. The alternate Sinestro and Cheetah and Grant and Darkseid, such an amazing twist. And the evil Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen and Scott Snyder, the story that you are crafting is such a wonderful, engaging, character-driven story that is deep in every every issue is just filled with so many characters, but you feel like you're engaged with each one, and it's such a good read, and I'm so impressed of every issue I pick up of this book. If you're not reading Justice League, I highly recommend you guys pick this book up. In the artwork by Jorge Jimenez, I've said it every single issue of his run on this book, absolutely incredible. The detail, the layouts of every single page, the line work, the colors, everything. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Must pick this book up. And I cannot wait for the next issue because the ending was such a huge climax, and then you just left with this cliffhanger, and I kind of have an idea I think what's going to happen, but each time I think I do, there's a twist, and Scott, you get me. So yeah, highly recommend you guys pick this book up. It's amazing. Hands, it's just amazing. All right, next up, War of the Realms #4. First, just check out this variant cover. It is so gorgeous. This is the variant cover by Aaron Cooter. There was 4 or 5 or 6. Every week this book comes out, there's so many variant covers. And this one just stuck out like a sore thumb because there's no title, there's no #4. There's just his beautiful artwork and his name at the bottom, and so good. But all right, so War of the Realms is written by Jason Aaron and art by Russell Darderman, and issue 4 kind of gets back on track, or it leaves the tie-in fatigue behind. And that's the term I used in the last issue. The last issue, it felt like you had to have been reading the tie-ins to be kind of fully caught up with the story, because characters were going different places and you weren't quite sure why they were there because you're missing stuff that this other book was giving you. But this issue felt just whole. It was just one issue that told the story of all the characters. And Jason Aaron, again, just like Scott's and Iron Man, you are telling such an amazing story with so many characters, but every character gets their time, and every character that you see and has a big moment is meaningful and well done, and I am so into War of the Realms. If you guys haven't noticed, I love this book, and the artwork by Russell Darderman, gorgeous, amazing. The line work is so gorgeous, and the layouts of every single panel is such well done and meticulous. And there was a couple panels that if you didn't look close enough, because some of the panels, the characters are really small, you miss some gem moments like Luke Cage wielding like this giant Thor hammer. And there's this other scene, I'll show it, where it's the characters around the table at Avengers Mountain, and you see Deadpool sitting all lovingly looking at, I think it was Cap, or I can't think of her, Lady Jane Forrester. Yeah, it's just such a well crafted book, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. So yeah, those were my picks of the week, I guess you could say. Each book was so well written, well drawn, well paced, well storied. The dialogue in each book was amazing. I cannot suggest you guys pick up these books. You got enough. Like, you have to go down. I highly suggest, you don't have to, because then this is just my opinion on these books, but I highly suggest you guys go down to your local comic book store and pick these books up. And if you don't know where your local comic book store, I put a link in the description each week where it's just the local comic book finder that you can find where your shop is. And I highly suggest you guys do this or do that. All right, so up next we have The Amazing Spider-Man 24. This is written by Nick Spencer and art by Humberto Ramos. This is a variant cover by Leinil Francis Yu. I had to get this cover because it's the next villain coming up, I think, after this arc, and it's just Leinil's art is just so gorgeous, and it's crazy good. It's so good. But getting into the issue was good. We haven't got to the big Kraven moment yet. I think that's going to be in the next issue. But this is setting up for a couple big fight scenes, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But yeah, this was a really good issue. It was well paced. The art was good. The the actions between the Spider-Man and the Lizard, and the setup with the Lizard's son and Black Cat were great. I am really excited to see where this story is going to go, because it's really been a fun run. This last 6 issues of Amazing Spider-Man plus all the tie-ins, so it's been like a 12-issue story that's been really fun. Not all the issues have been great, but it's been engaging, and it is a really well-crafted story across all those issues, and I'm really excited to see where this book goes. This is definitely a pickup. A suggestion that you guys go pick this book up. All right, next up we have Guardians of the Galaxy #5. This is written by Donny Cates and art by Jeff Shaw. I am really loving what Donny Cates is doing with this book. It's got some really cool twists, and especially in this issue. It's introducing characters, or not introducing, it's using characters that you wouldn't necessarily think it would be in a Guardians of the Galaxy book. And yeah, the twists and turns along the way are just so good, and the dialogue in this book is so good. Donny Cates, you're crushing it. Like, it's funny, it's exciting. Yeah, it's just really, really well crafted book. I know I'm using the word crafted a lot in this issue, but or in this video, but it's a well crafted, well done book, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. Yeah. Definitely pick this book up. Donny Cates, you're crushing it on Venom. You're crushing it on Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, I can't wait for the next issue. Oh, and the art in this book by Jeff Shaw, on point. On point. It's beautiful. Next up, we have Daredevil #5. This is written by Chip Zdarsky and art by Marco Checchetto. Definitely an interesting book, because I didn't see this book going the way that, or this issue going the way that it did. So there's a little twist that I didn't see coming, which is always good, because so many books you know where it's going to go for the most part. There might be a little twist here and there, but this is kind of like, it totally caught me off guard. I was like, really? Some fun characters showed up in this book to help out our boy Daredevil, and there's a funny scene, since Daredevil's blind. He didn't realize what he had on his t-shirt. If you've read any of the previous issues, I'm not going to ruin it, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a cool banter between Daredevil's friends and himself because of the shirt. And yeah, solid read. With a twist, it made it even better. And Jeffrey Shaw's artwork is so good. It's so good. Just the amount of detail and energy that he puts into all the scenes, in the sense this is Daredevil and he's fighting almost all the time. It's just, the energy comes through, and it's so well done. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this book. If you like Daredevil, I highly suggest you guys pick this book up. It's a good jumping in point, just like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not the best jumping in point, but only 5 issues in, so it's not that hard to catch up. Or it shouldn't be that hard. All right, next up we have Batman '71. This is written by Tom King and art by Mikel Janin and Jorge Fornes. Really interesting issue. Really loved what he did. He basically told 2 stories in one book, and kind of made it seem like one could have been in Batman's head. Like he could have been still affected by the scarecrow toxin. I could be completely wrong, but it was really interesting in the juxtaposition of the 2 art styles, because one story was drawn by Mikel Janin and the other, or Mikel Janin, and the other story was drawn by Jorge Fornes. It was just really interesting and engaging, and I really, really enjoyed it. Tom King, again, you're crushing this book, my friend. It's so good. And the use of all the characters, it's so well. And Batman, like in the last issue, he said he was going to bring his army, and Batman puts out the call, and not everyone responds. And it was cool to see who was responding and who didn't, and they kind of gave you a little reasoning behind each one. And yeah, really solid read. Definitely not a good jumping in point at issue 71, but it is besides what some people say, some people don't really like this run by Tom King. I absolutely love it. I highly suggest picking up this book. All right, next up we have Naomi No. 5. This is written by Brian Michael Bendis and art by David F. Walker. Great read. Really fun. We get the full backstory of Naomi's parents, who they are, where they came from, and as you can see, Naomi has a suit and looks like she's flying on the cover, and we get more information with that. And it was just a really fun read, and Naomi does exactly what a teenager does in this book. She goes and talks to one of her friends because she can't talk to anyone else. She just needs to see her best friend. And yeah, well done, Brian Michael Bendis. Such a good read. And the art, front to back, gorgeous. Every single scene is so well done. Yeah, highly suggest you guys to go pick this book up. It will be difficult to pick up all 5 issues, even with the reprints, because this book is so popular right now. But if you want to wait a little bit longer, it'll probably be out in trade by end of the summer. All right, next up we have High Level No. 4. This is written by Rob Shearden and art by Romulo Fajardo Jr. This was okay. Since it is, well, I've been picking up the first 3 issues. I picked this one, and I really enjoyed the last 3, but this one was kind of meh. Not loving where the story is going. This issue kind of moved kind of slow, and it was definitely each moment you can kind of, I could see happening. I was like, she's going to do this, and it happened. She's going to do this, oh, and it happened. There wasn't any moments where I felt like, oh, cool, this is happening. Oh, cool, that's happening. And all just, I don't know, just really wasn't a good book. And I'm not doing a really good job describing it, but to me, it just wasn't the best issue. But all runs, not all issues in every single run are great. I'm going to stick this book out till the end. I'm not sure how far it's going to go. I believe it's only going to go probably 6 or 7 issues. So I'm in it for the run, and it is fun. And some of the moments where in this issue were really fun. With like, we meet this character called The Room, and it was kind of like what I was expecting, but it was still creepy, and it was definitely interesting. So not the best read this week, but it's still on my pull list. I'm still going to read it, and it is a good jumping in point. Issue number 4, just like Guardians of the Galaxy and Naomi, it's not the best, but you should be able to find the other 3 issues pretty easily. Last but not least, we have Teen Titans 30. This is written by Adam Glass and art by Bernard Chang. This is also the last book I read of this week. It was decent. I left it to the last issue of the week because I was the least interested in reading this book, mainly because this was a 4-part story that interwove with with Deathstroke, and since I wasn't reading those issues, I kind of have like these large gaps in the story, so I don't know exactly what happened. I can kind of fill it in with reading this issue and kind of just like, guess what happened. But in this issue, the team's kind of divided on what to do, because now the whole team knows that there's villains. The villains that they had captured, that half the team thought that they were like sending to Blackgate or Arkham or some other jail. Damon's actually been keeping under their base, and half of them think that they should let them go or give them over to the authorities, and the other half think that they should keep them. So there's a big divide between the team, and obviously they fought. So teams fighting themselves, and at the very end we get a surprise from a character that definitely has been foreshadowed ever since Crush has been added to the team, and that was the most exciting part of the issue. I'm not going to say who it was. I'm sure you guys can guess, but I'm kind of excited to see where that's going to go. I think the rest of the issue, the whole storyline is kind of a little boring, and I'm hoping introducing this character will kind of, break us out of this cycle. But we'll see. I'm definitely going to continue picking it up, mainly because I love Robin, and I really am enjoying Crush and Roundhouse. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. And that's it for the week. Hopefully this was one of the shorter videos that I've done, because I know each of my videos have been, close to 20 minutes. But I'm just trying to show you guys my love for comics and make sure you guys understand how good each issue was. But as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and if you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and like always, smash that like button. Show me your love, guys. Yeah, and that's going to be it for the week. Thanks, guys. Peace.